Guys, George from GFS Solutions here, and before we dive into today's subject, which I'm very excited about because I'm passionate about it, but actually it's easier because I really enjoy it, but we'll come back to that in a sec. I want you to own three things. Number one, would you agree that in the past, civilizations, cultures, people around the world in history have written things down, things that they've learned, that they can maximize their existence at that period, who have then taught the next generation, who has then written down their own things and then taught the next generation, who then wrote their own bits down and taught the next generation. So you've got a series of things in history where people have noted things down. Would you agree with that, yes or no? The second point is, are you the only person who has started their own business? Are you the only person who has felt a fear of failure? Are you the only person who has lost a client? Are you, I could do this all day. You get where I'm going with this. The answer is no. And finally, would you agree that people like talking about themselves? So, number one, have people in the past written things down and learnt from their mistakes and their successes? I'm hoping that you're thinking, yes, you agree with that. Number two, are you the only person that has started their own business, felt the fear of failure, lost a client, done something else? Are you the only person that's done it? I'm kind of hoping you're thinking no at this point, so you agree with those two so far. And number three, would you agree that people like talking about themselves? And again, I'm hoping that you agree with that as well. Because if you don't, then that's this video shot to pieces. No, but seriously, people do like talking about themselves. So here's the story, guys. Why would you not learn from other people's failures, but more importantly, learn from other people's successes? So yes, 100%, we all make mistakes. We all have learning curves, however big or small. Whether it's how you hold a carton of milk, or spilt milk, to something more significant in life. But ultimately, you learn from that, and then you hold it a different way the next time, etc., etc. So it goes without saying that you learn from your own mistakes. You also need to learn from your own successes too. So when things go well, go back and see what happened, and then put it into a system that can be followed, that can be taught, that can be replicated, and then success will flow a lot more consistently. But why would you miss out on learning from other people's successes and failures? Now, people like talking about themselves, and you can learn. A lot of people just jump to, talk to other people, and you can learn from their mistakes. Ultimately their failures. Why not learn from their successes? People like talking about themselves, and here's the story, guys, for today. So we're in Cyprus, and I am sitting with one of my good friends' grandfathers, and it's probably the longest conversation and the deepest conversation I've ever had with him. He's just, within a matter of minutes, he just delved straight into a couple of questions from me, just to kind of get the conversation flowing. But he delved into history of his life, basically. You're talking about a guy that left Cyprus to move to the UK, to move to England, to London. Talk about the unknown. Yeah, he knew a couple of people there, he had some family members there. But you're talking about a guy who went over to England with his wife. So there's him and his wife, there's two. 5 children and his mum. 8 people. 8 people. Had hardly any money, couldn't rent anywhere. The family that he knew, the people that he knew, said, yeah, we'll put you up, we'll sleep on the floor, on the couch, in the living room, wherever we'll find, that's how it was a lot of the time back in the day as a regular occurrence. This is how people lived for long periods of time. But then once they found out that there was 8 of them and not 3 of them, there was nowhere to stay. So, I'm not entirely sure that I'm doing this story justice. There's so many things that go through our minds as young entrepreneurs in this day and age, the problems that we've got, and the emotions that we feel, and how we kind of drives our lives. But we don't really take heed of the struggles that others have gone through before us to make things so easy, so accessible. You know, we worry about where we're going to get a next client from. You know, here's a guy worried about where his entire family, wife, 5 kids and mother that he's looking after are going to sleep tonight. What are they going to eat? Are they going to eat? You know, anyway, but that's not the point of the story today. The point of the story is that, you know, here's a guy that just was incredibly confident and adamant that he was going to make it. He was going to find them somewhere to stay. He was going to find them something to eat. He was going to make some money. Before you knew it, they got a little bit of help, ended up splitting between a couple of people's houses. They slept there for a couple of days. He went out and worked his arse off to earn some money, talking to the right people. Well, obviously you don't know who's the right people, but talking to a lot of people, asking questions. People like talking about themselves. Before you knew it, got a better job, and then slowly an even better job. And he had a history of dealing with English people in Cyprus, so felt confident about, you know, working with them in the UK. Just, you know, and you know, I'm sitting there listening to this, and I just thought, wow, you know, there's so many stories that we could learn from. People absolutely love talking about themselves. Highs and lows. We can learn from it. We can improve on it. But, you know, the biggest thing that I took from that particular story was just, wow, you know, there's so many things that I worry about and I stress about, and, you know, I go home to my wife and you know, you just think, what kind of struggles did other people, what kind of struggles are other people now going through in the world? You know, when we're worrying, moaning about certain things, just get out there and do it. Just do it. You knock on the first door, nothing. Knock on the second door, nothing. Rejection, no. Fear, what we're going to do, we're going to do it. Because you can be the most intelligent person in the world, but if you've got that drive and you've got that work ethic, you're going to make it. So I hope you've learned something today. Feel free to share, comment, ask questions, whatever. But ultimately, I spend so much of my time seeking out people, older people, younger people, mainly older people, because they've got more life experience, it's natural. But just ask them a question, you know. When was the first time that you realised that you wanted to work for yourself and start your own business? What was the biggest mistake you made? You know, I'm surprised sometimes when I'm asking that question, before I've finished asking the question, I think, well, why would they want to tell me? You know, admitting that they made mistakes. I've never to this day had someone not answer that question, and I've learnt some incredible things. You know, obviously everyone's got their own life experiences that lead them up to the decisions they make, etc. But why would you wait to make all of the mistakes yourself when you could learn from other people? I hope you've enjoyed that.